Jayaha, Shivarajaya here from vitalcoaching.com. There is so much I want to tell you today. Big downloads this morning. Look at this. Some form of jasmine here that they use for prayers and rituals. And yeah, I want to tell you more about this in a sec. But the topic for this video is preparing for first alien contact. What do alien life forms look like? My God, they are coming. Exciting, right? Okay, I want to enter into a discussion which is just an open field of conversation, okay? Again, as usual, I don't have scientific proofs about most of what I'm gonna say, you know? It's not about diving into science exploration, but much more about understanding or trying to imagine things from an intuitive perspective. Like you get insights, and you know, so this is intuitive research, okay? Slightly different than looking at facts. It's looking at visions and observing that and having it from within. So preparing for first alien contact. And what do alien life forms look like? Very often when we imagine aliens visiting the Earth, we imagine these beings arriving on a spaceship, and they are human-like or strange, weird, insect-like looking. Usually the insect-like looking, they tend to be a bit aggressive with us, right? We go like, oh my God, I hope those ones don't show up on this planet. And then when it's humanoid, sometimes we go like, okay, well, they look friendly, but you know, they have some shadow side to them. So there is this whole romantic perception of how aliens look like, and we try within the filters of our mind to create an image of how to relate to these realities that I think are a little bit childish and a little bit immature. I would like us to kind of expand our field here, okay, a little bit further. Look at this flower, okay? When I smell this flower, it triggers a chain reaction of biochemicals inside of me, right? So the smell or the chemicals of this flower trigger an energetic response in me that activates a certain frequency or a certain mindset. It's a frequency of, you know, scent and vision, visual, because there is beauty there. And so it alters my mind. It does something to my being. It impacts on my energy. I'm establishing a field of communication with this by just accepting this flower in my field. Now imagine that the scent codes, right? The biochemical, the chemical resonance that this flower has been consciously designed to impact life in a very specific way. This is this flower's language, okay? So imagine that the specific chemical codes of this flower haven't been designed on this planet. It means that this code has been imported, transmitted, and that this flower is a messenger for a certain aspect of human emotions, and that this specific set of codes that this flower represents have been embodied in this flower from another source, that the whole resonance that this flower creates has been designed somewhere else, you know. And you go like, oh wow, you know, this is, but it's like, why not? It's like right now we are designing certain things, certain tools, certain technical tools that have been designed on the other side of the planet, right? Maybe 10,000 years from now we will be designing things, objects or technologies in a place that will be on another solar system or on another planet on this solar system. You know, the fact that it comes from a remote place, you know, it's totally within the realms of what's possible. We're not talking about something that is really so far-fetched. So here we go. It means that this flower could be an alien life form. It could have been seeded on this planet from another location that is not Earth-based. And is this within the limits of what we can conceive? Well, I don't know about you, but yeah, why not? Why not? Once we start imagining or realizing that this galaxy is populated by thousands or millions of intelligent beings, and that there is life, just life flourishing everywhere. We just didn't find it yet, or we don't perceive it yet, or it takes forms that we cannot perceive with our physical eyes. We are looking for human-like life, for life forms that we can relate to. But imagine what's going on the invisible. Electromagnetic vibrations that we are perceiving are really vast and profound. So here we go. Here is a simple example of how to look at that. When you look at some of these insects, you go like, wow, you really look weird. It looks like you come from another planet, It's so strange. So the possibility that this is what is going on, yeah, it's within the realm of what's possible. I would not be surprised if actually, once we start tracking the places and the codes from where those forms originated, then we go back to a place which is not Earth-based. So again, let's try to look at alien life forms as something that is much vaster than just humanoid-like beings, okay? We can look in different directions. Another element which is important, imagine also that alien life forms and everything that has been going on this planet since the beginning of time, or since the beginning of humankind, has been seeded and sponsored, observed, guided, watched, monitored by intelligences that are way more evolved than us, that are 2 million years ahead of us. Okay? Try to imagine that just for a second, that these beings have been planting seeds exactly in the same way as we could go to the moon and start creating an atmosphere, and then start planting seeds of life here and there, and come back to this moon a few million years later and realize that the whole place flourished in ecstatic, incredible ways. And so where did this original seed come from? It's us. We went to the moon, we put a seed on the ground there in protected environments, and then eventually oxygen starts appearing, an atmosphere is being built. That's it, it's an experiment. But guess what? Maybe we are an experiment, maybe we are being guided and we have been seeded from another source. So that's something to consider, okay? It's the fact that the first contact might be for us, but maybe, this dialogue and this conversation between humankind and the forms that are sponsoring us has been going on forever. We are not given the right or the permission to look beyond the veils, because right now, for whatever reason, an isolated environment has been created on this planet, and basically if the veils would be lifted, we would freak out. Everything that we have been designing on this planet would no longer make sense. We'd be like, oh my god, there is this whole expansion that we didn't perceive, and now we have to completely change the perception that we have about our human life. So, all that is it's not philosophy, it's more like observing and accepting to go in beyond the limits of what we traditionally perceive when we think of alien life forms and alien beings. Another important aspect is exactly with this example of flower. Imagine that alien life forms have been populating this planet in the form of bacteria, for instance, or microscopic beings. It means that you are really in this microcosm, and maybe some of the bacteria that you can find in the ground, or maybe all of it, has been imported from this planet. Now imagine that, we start right now already experimenting with teleportation, right? Imagine that right now, from another source, a planet on this galaxy is teleporting new bacteria forms or new fungi forms. An intelligent, active life form through some codes of consciousness, and those codes are being anchored on this planet through these new bacteria, for instance. How on earth would we discover it? How would we know about it? We don't. A lot of it can be happening behind the scene, behind the veils, and we simply don't have the tools and the intelligence, the technology to monitor all that. We don't have a clue. So right now, as I'm speaking right now, there might be a transmission, there might be something that is being embedded on this planet in humankind in terms of life forms. And maybe it's a bacteria that already exists, but a new code, a new frequency is being given to that specific bacteria to anchor a certain consciousness or a certain vibration or a certain program on this planet. Okay, so now we are looking at the planet, we are looking at microscopic beings, okay, something really, really small. And if we go in the same direction, you know, think about the human biome. 90+% of the cells in this being right now, they don't belong to me, okay? They belong to the beings that live in me, the bacteria, the microscopic beings that are in my gut. I don't know where else, you know, but on my skin, maybe navigating different parts of my body and my being. But basically, I'm a biome. I'm a very evolved collaboration between me, what I can identify as me, as my frequency, and beings that I'm hosting, okay? If you don't know about that, just check human biome. And so imagine that right now there is a transmission or a new frequency being embedded on some very specific bacteria in my being. And that this bacteria starts changing frequency, that there is a new signal, a new impulse that is being given. And that this bacteria starts changing vibration, and through this change of vibration, it's starting to impact my cells, impacts my brain, maybe my frequency, and then suddenly there is a bit more of something that was not there before. Imagine that it's a whole new species of bacteria being embedded. So, you know, right now, I could literally be populated, my whole being, by alien life forms that are circulating in and out or are being anchored in my system, but receive new frequencies, and through these new frequencies, new programs are being established. So is this something that you can conceive? Yeah, it's not too complex to imagine. There's a new frequency, there is a change in the vibration of these bacteria that is impacting or influencing my being. Again, I don't have any proof about that, but suddenly when I was looking at that, suddenly you have these visions, you have these realizations, you have these insights that go like, guess what? Maybe this is how we are interacting with alien life forms. The fact that the sky is going to open up and aliens are going to come in spaceships and start communicating with us and give us the translation tools to understand their language. We were like, yeah, okay, why not? You know, that's a possibility, but what if it's much more subtle than that? Okay, so we go into the microcosmic. Now imagine the macrocosm. Imagine that the sun is an intelligent life form, and that right now the sun is communicating, interacting with all the other stars from this galaxy, that there is an active communication. Imagine that the sun itself is receiving codes, and through those, I don't know, solar flares, for instance, through every vibration, frequency that is coming out of the sun is impacting on humankind. And so we are within the sphere, again, instead of looking at humanoid-like or human-like intelligence. Imagine that the sun is an intelligent being. And by intelligent, I mean that it's much more complex than just a set of biochemical reactions, of chemical reactions, okay? It is not inert, that there is intelligence in it. There is purpose, that there is all sorts of things. But again, when we think of intelligent, we have to look at things beyond the way we look at human intelligence, because, you know, we think, oh, emotions and thoughts and beliefs and projects and so on. No, I mean, we have to start imagining things beyond the limits of how we function as a human being. So again, you know, intelligence fields, you know, really, really vast beings. This is why the sun is considered to be a god in lots of mythologies. Why? Because it's so vast that we cannot comprehend. We go like Surya, and when there is an eclipse, we freak out, you know, in ancient times, because we think that we did something wrong. So there is a sense of worship. The reason why we are worshipping that is because without the sun, we would be dead. Simple. We would not exist. It's the source of life. So it's pretty, you know, acknowledging that and then going like, okay, well, maybe in the sphere of the sun, there's something going on that we don't understand. And it's possible that the sun is in active communication and active exchange with all sorts of regions of this galaxy and even the universe. Okay? So what do we do? Okay, imagine that all that is going on, that it's out of our control and it's already happening. So why are we having this conversation if our response doesn't really matter? I think it does matter, because imagine now that we enter into an area where we start considering the fact or the possibility that there are humanoid-like forms, that there are beings out there who are on the same pathway as our evolution. And those beings are going to reveal themselves, you know, maybe progressively at some point in the future. And so what are the protocols? How do we communicate as a human race? And right now, you know, I would say that if we see ourselves from the sky, we'll be like, we are pretty aggressive, you know. We are like throwing bombs at each other, always, you know, somebody gives us nuclear power and we go, let's build some missiles and point them towards other human beings. And so we are entrapped in macro conflicts, you know, wars going on, and as soon as the perspective of an alien life form, the way it's designed in Hollywood and in movies and the way it's designed in science fiction, there is always wars and aggressive energy, and there's the bad ones and the good ones, and the force and the light and the shadows and the darkness. You know, it's pretty intense. And so imagine that out there is just peace. It's like there is a degree of harmony on the galaxy that is really, really high. There's a galactic federation of beings and humanoid-like forms that are supervising all that, and say, what do we do with humankind, you know? And I don't think that we are a bad student. I don't think that we go like, oh, humankind is fucked up. No, not at all. I think that we are doing great, okay? We have been embedded with certain codes. We're not a mistake of evolution. We are learning. Okay, we're like a child falling, trying and preserving, and then suddenly you make a mistake and then you recover from that. So we are learning. We are, in many ways, we are in infancy stage, learning how to master our tools, our weapons, our technology, and then learning how to live in harmony on this planet. But we have still some animal instinct, some instinctual nature that is sometimes kind of disturbing the balance and the harmony that we could be building. And so I feel what is happening right now is that the chance that some spaceship arrives on planet Earth and then alien comes out and then we start establishing a verbal language with these beings, I'm not feeling that too much. What I'm feeling is that right now, as I'm communicating with you, my mind is being activated, and there is a certain frequency or a certain radio wave or a certain meditation state. It means that there is a telepathic activation in my field, and there is something going on that is being activated, and I feel this is where, you know, at least for myself, this is where communication or activation or insight is coming in. And you might be like, fuck, Shiva is losing it. Used to be so normal, and now you're like, where are you? You know, what's happening? And what's happening is that when we enter into these mystical states, okay, you start meditating and then you keep on expanding your spheres of understanding, then suddenly you realize, okay, what's beyond these veils? What's happening? And then you keep getting more and more insights and more understanding and waking up to certain things, realizations. And some of them might be really embodied experiences. Like, I cannot cover, of course, everything that I experience, and you might have experienced lots of things that you go like, wow, that you might not comprehend, but that open gateways of consciousness that were not there before. And so, you know, this is the exploration that we are in right now. We are trying to understand all that. So back to frequency, imagine that it is actually a mind-to-mind transmission, that it's an energetic, you tune into a certain wave. The way these alien life forms might be communicating with us is by creating a certain frequency and allowing us to surf these waves. Okay, instead of being like, here's my language, try to understand, or we are going to communicate to you in human language because we know that you cannot comprehend. No, I feel that what's going on is way more subtle than that. I feel like there is a certain transmission happening, hitting us, and then we are given the tools through tuning in and activating our chakras and so on, you know, our spiritual body activation, spiritual awakening, and then we start being given tools to communicate on those frequencies. And that specific frequency, you know, if you are into technology and you are developing new sources of clean energy, I believe that this is where the inspiration is coming from. I believe this is alien intelligence is coming on this planet and inspiring humankind. And it has been going on forever. It's not a new thing. So the first contact, they're already here all the time. And whether we want to mystify them as angelic powers and forces, I do believe that right now we are in constant interaction and communication. And it's not like a communication, oh, now there is communication, now the signal has stopped. No, we are permeated on so many levels all the time. Maybe absolutely everything that we have on this planet is the result of interactions with force and intelligence that are not planetary based. So here we go. This is the possibility that I would like us to consider. So I hope I'm not losing you here, you know, don't freak out if it's a little bit far-fetched, but I do believe that, you know, this is an embodied experience, so it's within the realms of what we can mentally conceptualize, okay? And again, we don't need to have scientific proofs. I'm not saying that this is the way it works. I'm saying that this is a possibility. If I had to imagine how we are interacting right now with space and alien life forms, I would say this is a possibility. It's one of the possibilities. Something else that is important is that for us, the difference between human based on this planet and beings from outer space is as if there is a boundary or there is a limit, there is a clear limit. You are from here or you're not from here. So what I start realizing, or what starts awakening in my field, is the fact that this is way more fluid than we think. You know, we have been sending signals into outer space and getting back, and maybe those alien life forms are already here in the form of bacteria or in the form of other beings that we don't physically see. And that our communication between the Earth and other parts of the solar system or the galaxy is an interaction that has been already going on. It's simply not fully revealed to us right now. But it's possible that from where we are right now, that we master certain aspects of human evolution, and that the codes that we have right here are already being transferred towards another planet or another region of this galaxy, where Another humankind is being seeded right now, and it's in a state of evolution which is like 2 million years before us, you know, way back. Like they are still in cave kind of space, and so the technologies that we are developing might give the possibility for this being to evolve faster. So it's possible that, for instance, the codes that we developed here are already being transferred to other parts of the galaxy as models of evolution for other life forms. Here you have it, preparing for first alien contact. What do alien life forms look like? Yeah, let's try to be a little bit less aggressive with each other. And in case you wonder what is the best way to communicate with aliens who would show up at your doorstep, give them some love, make them a cup of tea, or give them a coffee or something, you know. Show them some respect, and they would show you some respect back. Just teasing a little bit here, but we can upgrade our game a little bit, and instead of imagining like receiving them with guns and army-like response, let's remove the aggressive part out of the story and realize that if they wanted to destroy us, we would be dead by now, okay? So that's not the purpose. This is a beautiful experiment, and I believe we are being watched, so add a little bit of heart here, anahata, you know, open your heart chakra and start imagining this from a place where we are in a beautiful evolutionary journey together, and yeah, remove a little bit all this aggressive tension, you know, enter in free flow, enter into flow state, nadaya, and start, you know, cultivating that inside of you, so that when you feel like that's it, it's showing up closer and closer and closer, then eventually we won't feel threatened as human race, not feel, yeah, like we are under attack or something. So yeah, basically it's back to love, right? Back to love and harmony. Wow, this is such a vast topic. I'm really curious about what you think, what you feel, what is alive in your system concerning this, these ideas. Post in the comment, interact with me, send me messages, send me links, or send me information that I might not know about, and let's get the conversation rolling, because there's something coming up, I believe. I'll see you soon. I love you.